Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker here in New Orleans, where the 49ers have regained the lead thanks to Ray Wersching, who has, for the first time in his career, connected on 5 field goals and tying a 49er record set by Bruce Gossett 10 years ago against the Denver Broncos. Rich Maudie and Kenny Duckett are now back, and it's going over to Duckett's side. Duckett at the 7. Cutting inside. Penalty markers fly all over the place. Milt McCall and Dana McLemore combined to bring down Kenny Duckett, but we'll see what the penalty is.
Well, we mentioned a couple of old-timers from 49er place kicking days, huh? Tommy Davis and Bruce Gossett.
Yeah. Illegal block following the 14-yard return by Duckett against the Saints. So Kenny Stabler has really not had the luxury of any kind of decent field position so far in the second half.
He can take this team on, as we'll listen to the call.
Illegal block in the back, number 99 during the run back, first down.
He has been a past master, as I was about ready to say, on taking teams on long controlled marches. He calls his own plays in that huddle. Bum Phillips says that I can't ask the questions in the huddle that Kenny can. He'll ask a guy, can you handle him this play? And the guy will say yes. Kenny knows that on the field. That's why he calls him.
6 minutes to go in the third quarter. 1st and 10 at the 9. Stabler going up top looking for Lindsey Scott, and it's overthrown. It looked like Scott got a late start on that pattern going up on top.
Well, actually what he did, Dick, he ran an out pattern on Eric Wright towards the sideline at about 12 yards and then took it upfield, trying to get Wright to bite on the short one.
Eric Wright defending on the play. Leading rusher for the Saints today is George Rogers. He has gained 35 yards on 9 carries. Wayne Wilson has 21 and 8. Well, the Saints' last 3 possessions, talking about field position, have started at their own 6, the 16, and now the 9. 2nd and 10. And the flip to George Rogers. Tripped up at the 12-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and a passing situation now. Keena Turner made the play for San Francisco. Joe Montana, second rated in the NFC, had 12 touchdown passes in the last 4 games before being shut out last week against the Rams, and of course shut out so far in this game against the Saints. 3rd down and 9. Make it 3rd and 5 at the 13. Groth, Duckett, and Goodlow, the wide receivers. Stabler up the middle, tipped away by Bobby Leopold on the pass intended for the tight end Hobie Brenner.
Great move by Leopold, who playing strong safety, we said, for the second game for the 49ers. He has been a linebacker, was a starting linebacker as a rookie. Made a good move to the football. You just kind of don't expect that from a guy that's played linebacker.
And you remember him at Notre Dame, where he did play some safety position.
Played a little bit there, and then he played an East-West Shrine game at safety. That was the only way he could get in the game. Tell him I'm a safety, I'll play.
One of the 2 Niners who've been married since the season started, Bobby Leopold, who is college sweetheart, and Dwight Clark. Here's Russell Ertzleben, got off a booming punt his first time from the end zone, now having to kick there again. And Dana McLemore is back at the 40. Good kick by Ertzleben, and McLemore back at his 40 is hit immediately by Rich Maudie, and a penalty flag down on top of it. Maudie had made the play, so that was really uncalled for Jimmy Rogers, perhaps, because Maudie had McLemore nailed. Personal foul against the Saints.
I think McLemore surprised everyone that time by not calling for a fair catch. Maudie was down there breathing on his face mask when the ball got there.
That was a 51-yard punt from the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 41, first down.
Okay, Rich Maudie, number 84, just waiting for McLemore to make the catch. Rogers is number 41. McLemore's down and Rogers is on top. Ill-advised.
Certainly. 49ers now at the 47 of New Orleans. And Montana going deep for Freddie Solomon, but step for step is Johnny Poe. Johnny Poe, number 25, who is a buddy with Eric Wright, his corresponding number with the 49ers. And Poe and Eric Wright, both from East St. Louis, Illinois, same hometown, and they were both college roommates at the University of Missouri. Well, next Saturday, CBS brings you more exciting college football action, beginning with the NCAA today at 3:30.
Texas against SMU. Texas has got that great defense, Dick. They're just hammering everybody right now.
And SMU comes in with the longest current major college unbeaten string, 21 games. Big college game next week on CBS. 2nd and 10 at the 47. An audible called for by Montana. Bill Ring cuts inside. Hit once and gets to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and a long 5, maybe 6. We understand, as we've seen, Wayne Wilson has had his knee worked on. He's twisted his knee, and he's questionable as to his return. Jim Wilkes made the tackle on Ring on that play. It'll be 3rd and a long 6 now for San Francisco. They have not been able to dent the Saints, and of course the big play of the game, as Wilson sits, was that 1st and goal at the 5. They had 3 shots from the 1 at the end of the half and came up empty. But they lead, the 49ers do, 15-13. 3rd and 6. Montana drills it. Incomplete. Ronaldo Nehemiah into the game. And Johnny Poe defending again. And an elated group of New Orleans Saints defenders. It'll be 4th down.
Poe got help from number 49, Frank Wadlett, who came over and made contact just as the ball got there.
So Tom Orris, who has punted only once today, will be kicking. Former Miami Dolphin. There's Jeff Groth back. 3 minutes 58 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. 15-13. The 49ers lead the Saints. High kick. And out of bounds. And a good kick for Tom Orris. And let's see where they spot it. Just short of the 15-yard line. So once again, Kenny Stabler is going to start. That's the 4th drive in a row inside the 16. And right now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, Neil Lomax was carving up Tampa Bay until this happened. Hugh Green, who sat out the first half because of a hamstring injury, intercepted that pass, ran it into the end zone, and the Cardinals are in a dogfight. They lead. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, Brent. So it's Hugh Green, Ricky Jackson, both teammates on that fine University of Pittsburgh defensive unit. George Rogers in the backfield. It's 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Screen pass to Kenny Duckett, trying to get free, and Duckett almost did. He was stopped at the 18-yard line, and a good play by Ricky Ellison. Kenny Duckett, whose big play against Atlanta was that 41-yard kickoff return that set up the final drive. He's the 3rd leading receiver on the team. 3rd round draft pick last year.
Might be the fastest player on the New Orleans team.
Ronnie Lott is in now at strong safety number 42. It is 2nd and 6 at the 18 for Kenny Stabler. Draw play. And Rogers is hit. Jim Stuckey, who was the 20th player picked 3 years ago. Saints, their best field position was their own 24.
You see, they started from the 6, the 16, and then the 9, and that really limits what you can do offensively. You can't take any risks when you're down in that area.
3rd down and 5 at the 19. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Goodlow, Groth, and Duckett are all wide. Eugene Goodlow has it in the 1st down. Short of the 30. Eric Wright makes the catch, and Stabler zinged it to Goodlow.
He had Groth and Goodlow on the same side. They worked kind of a combination pattern. Groth took it down, and Goodlow kind of dallied around and then used him as a pick and cut in behind him. Eric Wright on the coverage, number 21. And Stabler had it right on the shelf.
So for the first time in his brief NFL career, Eugene Goodlow with 3 catches, more than any other game. 2 had been the previous. The 1st down story, under 2 minutes to go now in the 3rd quarter. At the 31st and 10. Stabler dropped. Goodlow again. And Tim Collier defending.
Well, any question about that man's arm, if he has any zing left or not. Those last 2 passes were on wires.
Most accurate passer in NFL history from Gulf Shores, Alabama. 37-year-old Ken Stabler. Kelvin Clark replaces Louis Oubre at right guard. Stabler's numbers today, 2nd down and 10. Kenny has some time up the middle, and Eugene Goodlow, I believe, at the 49-yard line, made the catch and took quite a lick from Dwight Hicks.
Goodlow, a rookie out of Kansas State, as Dick told you. He played 3 years in Canada. And right from the start in training camp this year, Bum Phillips knew this guy was going to be a good one. So it'll just be a matter of time until he'll be a force in our offense. He's been that today.
He left Kansas State after his sophomore year, so he wasn't eligible to play until this season. Comes off on his own power, but he's got to be sturdy to take a lick from Dwight like that, and it is a 1st and 10 for the Saints at their own 49. 1:08 remaining, 3rd quarter. Stabler has him out of danger. He gets that pass up, and it's intercepted by Dwight Hicks. Hicks still going at the 30. One blocker in his way, and Dwight Hicks goes in for the touchdown. And it was a block by Tim Collier that set him free, and Hicks.
There was an initial rush put on Stabler. Someone got extremely close to him. It was Ronnie Lott, I believe, on a safety blitz. Stabler threw a weak pass up and threw it right to Dwight Hicks, number 22, who started up the middle, got to the side, had one man to beat. Tim Collier eliminated him with the block. Let's watch now. Here's Stabler. Ronnie Lott, 42, safety blitz, back by Stabler under pressure. There is Hicks. Now he's going to cut it out to the outside here. I think it'll be Stan Brock, number 67, the only man that has a shot at him. And watch Taylor, number 47, come up and get in front of him.
And that's the 4th interception this year that the 49ers have returned for a touchdown. Just off the mark, intended for Kenny Duckett. A return of 62 yards. Injured Saint on the field, so 4 touchdowns on interceptions this year by the 49ers. They returned 1 against the Vikings and 2 against the Cardinals. And for Dwight Hicks, it's the 2nd one he's returned for a score this year.
And it's as quiet in the Superdome as it has been all year long.
Stabler got hit hard. Don't forget, he's been playing on fragile knees. Kenny Duckett, the injured player, comes off. He's all right.
Duckett up and okay, but he's sandwiched between number 21, Eric Wright. And it was 50, Ricky Ellison, the linebacker. Back there in pretty good shape, 20 yards deep.
So Ray Wersching will try to put the 49ers up by 22-13. And he does, and so San Francisco leading by 9 points now, 22-13. Wersching with 5 field goals and 1 conversion. So it took the 49ers up to 53 seconds to go in the 3rd to get a touchdown in the game. Right now, for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, Eric Hipple was knocked out of the game, so Gary Danielson came on for the Lions, and he threw this touchdown pass to Ulysses Norris. And now the Lions have opened up a little daylight, 24-10. Let's go back to Dick.
All right, Brent, big win for the Lions over the Pack last week, trying to do it against the Bears now. Kenny Stabler. A lot of players, Duckett on one end and Stabler on the other, took some shots on that play, but Dwight Hicks, 62-yard return on an interception, and the 49ers lead 22-13.
Which means, Dick, that New Orleans has to get on the board twice, once with a touchdown and with at least a field goal to go ahead in this game.
It's been a highlight game for Ray Wersching, who has scored himself 16 points, and that's the most he has ever had in his career in one ball game. He'll be kicking off now. Kenny Duckett and Rich Maudie are back for the Saints. And the capacity crowd, which has been loud, never louder than they were on that goal line stand to conclude the first half as Wayne mentions, virtually silent right now. Kick coming up short, and Duckett at the 3. Drives it out to the 29-yard line. Good return by Kenny Duckett. Jeff Stover makes the tuck. Dwight Hicks, 25-yard kickoff return, and Hicks goes back to work quickly. It's the thing about returning a run like that on interception, you have to go back to work in a hurry.
That's right. Get your lunch pail and go out there again.
And a new quarterback for the Saints is Dave Wilson, who was the first-round draft pick in the supplemental draft a couple of years ago out of the University of Illinois. Out all of last season with a knee injury suffered in the first game of preseason. We saw him and have seen him in several games, and he's got Rodgers and Hokie Gajan. So a twisted knee, Kenny Stabler, they think he might return. First and 10 at the 29. And Wilson will put it up on the first play, and he's hit from behind. Dwayne Board made the hit. We did not see the signal that it was an incomplete pass.
Didn't see. It looked like his arm may have been in motion as Board hit him, but no signal yet. So they rule it a fumble.
Final seconds here.
Watch closely here. Watch the right arm of Wilson. Board will come from the left of your screen. It was just a pump fake, and then he was bringing it back again, so it was a good call.
And it was a fumble indeed, and there is the gun. Ending the third quarter. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The 49ers 22 and the Saints 13. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
Tuesday on the Mississippi, Michelle Phillips is the wealthy divorcee.
I was the major adulteress of all time.
But will her wiles woo Ben from solving a murder Tuesday?
This is CBS. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac. Cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller Time.
Dick Stockton and Wayne Walker at the Superdome as we start the fourth quarter with the 49ers leading the Saints 22-13. Dave Wilson, the quarterback, coming into this game completing 7 of 12 for 121 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and Wilson going to the air again, and this time hitting his fine possession receiver Jeff Groth.
It was a great throw by the young man Wilson right there, who played his college days at Illinois under Mike White, who is a developer of quarterbacks. He was at California and had some great ones. He's had Wilson at Illinois, Eason most recently. And this one was right on the money to Groth in front of Collier.
And a first down for the Saints at the 40-yard line. (22-13), and as Wayne mentioned, the Saints need 2 scores to take the lead. Fred Dean trying to get inside, and Wilson going up top, and there's Groth again. Groth with a first down into 49er territory at the San Francisco 49, and Eric Wright defending on the play. Tough man to defend against.
Well, he gets tired of hearing this, but Kenny Stabler says he's like Fred Biletnikoff with speed. Groth says he wants to make his own identity, and he has. He runs the short routes as good as anybody in the National Football League.
Don't forget Mike Renfro. They compare him to Mike Renfro of former Houston. Wide receiver. First and 10 at the 49. Wilson, he has a big league arm. No one ever questioned that. He just needs some experience, and he is the future at that position for the Saints. Hokie Gajan hit at the line of scrimmage by Jack Reynolds. Jack Reynolds makes the hit.
He made a read and stepped right in the hole and waited for Gajan to get there. When he's sitting over there on the sideline drawing up things on the chalkboard, he's not doing it for his benefit. He knows what's going on out there.
Dean comes out of the game replaced by Keena Turner. So it'll be 2nd and 9 at the 48. Dave Wilson in for Ken Stabler, who completed 10 of 20 for 105 yards, but threw 2 interceptions. He's out with a twisted knee. And now we understand Wayne Wilson will not return to the game. That'll hurt the Saints. Dave Wilson's pass complete to Lindsey Scott at the 35. Tim Collier right with him. And a penalty flag is down behind the line of scrimmage. And it appears to be against the 49ers.
49ers came with a blitz that time, and New Orleans picked it up exceptionally well, gave Wilson the time he needed to get it downfield.
A face mask call. Maybe Keena Turner. He was the only white shirt we saw back there where the flag was dropped. And that'll be a break for the Saints, who have lost right now Kenny Stabler, who may return. Although the way Dave Wilson is moving the club, he may not have to. And Wayne Wilson, who is out. A 13-yard pickup on the pass to Lindsey Scott.
Now the 49ers aren't going to their...
With a face mask penalty, 65 defense. It was only a 5-yard penalty, not a first down. So it's a choice. They refused the penalty and took the first down.
That was on Lawrence Pillars, number 65. As I started to say, the 49ers haven't used much of their nickel defense, even though New Orleans has been in passing situations, and it might be because they don't have a whole lot of healthy defensive backs.
So 2 passes to Jeff Groth and 1 to Lindsey Scott. Wilson is 3 for 3 on this drive. 1st and 10 at the San Francisco 35-yard line. Draw play. George Rogers gets a couple and hit. Rodgers was rusty when he came into the game against the Falcons last week. He gained 41 yards and 10 carries overall, but late in the game he showed the kind of moves that he had established in previous years.
I think that's a common thing when a guy hasn't played for a couple weeks, especially at the running back situation. Wendell Tyler much the same this week. Rodgers, of course, holds the rookie rushing record in the National Football League, over 1,600 yards his rookie year, and that one's in jeopardy this year because of Eric Dickerson.
It was simply sensational. Rodgers, as you saw, 42 yards and 12 carries, 2nd and 8 at the 33. Long count by Wilson. Fred Dean, penalty flag down. And the pass by Wilson going to Kenny Duckett in the end zone is knocked away by Eric Wright. But the flag was thrown, and right there holding as Stan Brock, the right tackle, couldn't keep Fred Dean out of there.
They're moving Dean around. They're playing a 3-man line, and they have him in there now because he's their best pass rusher. He lines up at both ends. That time he lined up on the left side against Brock, number 67, beating him to the outside.
It's 22-13, the 49ers lead. Ray Wersching has kicked 5 field goals, and the only touchdown for the 49ers, a 62-yard return on an interception by Dwight Hicks just before the end of the 3rd quarter.
Now we get the 49ers nickel in.
Holding, 67 offense, still 2nd down.
Fred Dean is number 74. 67 is Stan Brock, the offensive tackle for the Saints. Dean with great quickness and strength for a man 235 pounds playing the defensive end position. And Brock pulls him down for the penalty.
Well, Ronnie Lotta's in the game.
And Richard Blackmore, number 44, a new acquisition.
Former Philadelphia Eagle, picked up last week when the secondary became awfully thin. They're at the 43. A lot of time remaining. 13:02. And Dave Wilson falls down. Fred Dean. And now we have a penalty. A penalty, late flag thrown. Kenny Stabler, 37 years old, could be spry, but right now feels maybe his age.
Well, he's just downcast because he's not in there. Wilson that time tripped over someone's leg on his pass drop. He went down. Dean came in and touched him, and if there's no penalty, Dean will be credited with a sack.
Be the 2nd sack for the 49ers today.
Tripping on number 63 offense. Penalties refused. 3rd down.
Because of the sack, the penalty on Brad Edelman is refused. It was tripping. Detroit opens it up now 24-10. 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh over Cleveland for 1st place in the AFC Central Division. Minnesota in the 4th quarter in control against Houston. And now Miami has opened up a 30-7 lead over the Jets, and Buffalo also over Baltimore 2nd quarter. Third down, 26 yards to go, and the Saints back in their own territory at the 48. And Wilson is in trouble and down at the 40. So the 49ers, with their best pass rush, comes when they need it. After Dave Wilson had moved him with 3 quick passes, this time it's Dwayne Board.
Dwayne Board, who perhaps is their most consistent and best all-around defensive lineman, can play both ways. A stun on, you see Dean coming from the right. He's in the middle now. Board will come from the left, beat a man, and then fall back in to Wilson. Again, it was over the top of 67 Brock.
And this place can quiet down in a hurry, that's for sure. Russell Erxleben back to kick. This will be his 3rd kick of the game. The first 2 came from his own end zone. High kick. Dana McLemore coming in, and penalty flag down. He didn't have enough room.
No, they touched him before the ball got there.
So the Saints committing penalties on nearly every play now. That was Rich Maudie. Penalties are really hurting the Saints, and they were virtually penalty free against the Falcons in their victory last week.
Well, they really seem dispirited now, and a lot of it has to do with number 16 Stabler sitting over there on the bench. You know, when your main man goes down, the guy that you look up to, your leader, it does take something out of you.
But they're not out of this game. There's a lot of time.
A lot of time. 12:18 on the clock, and they got to get it together.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. 84, first down.
That was Rich Maudie. Here it is.
That's number 84. He's down there early. You'll see his hand come across before the ball gets to McLemore.
So the 49ers will have the ball close to midfield when we start. 12:18, a lot of time remaining in this 4th quarter.
Don't talk to me about high tech. You fellas know I'm used to some pretty sophisticated filter systems.
Test pilot Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
Now, I don't care what kind of car you drive. The filters you want to buy are AC filters. An AC oil filter can serve you up to 15,000 miles. An air filter, clean up to 30,000 miles. The choice is yours. But for my money, it's AC Delco, the smart parts.
Pontiac! Like a burst from the sun, 2000 Sunbird has arrived. Pontiac's overhead cam 5-speed performer. 2000 Sunbird, easy to own, fun to drive. 2000 Sunbird, Pontiac excitement precisely the way you like it. 2000 Sunbird, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement, Pontiac.
Saints have turned the ball over 4 times. There have been 2 fumbles by George Rogers and 2 interceptions thrown by that man Ken Stabler, who's out with a twisted knee right now. One of them returned for a touchdown by Dwight Hicks. So it's awfully quiet here in the 49ers with Wendell Tyler getting to midfield for 3 yards. Penalties have hurt the Saints lately. They've been penalized 6 times for nearly 60 yards. Jim Wilkes and Derlin Moore make the tackle. Coming up next, it'll be the unbeaten Dallas Cowboys against the 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles in what has been a terrific rivalry in the NFC East.
And Dallas has been escaping more times than Harry Houdini this season.
Philadelphia beat them last year, and Dick Vermeil, of course, has been part of the whatever success the Eagles have had. Now it's Marion Campbell. And defense is the key for Philadelphia in that game, as Dick Vermeil told us yesterday. So it's 2nd and 8 here at midfield. And Tyler again to the 45. This is where Bill Walsh likes to keep the ball on the ground to use up the clock.
Well, he says, you know, our stats may not look as good in the second half a lot of times as they do in the first, because we're playing as good, but we're just playing in a different way. He says we look to win in the most positive way we can, and when you get a lead in the second half, the most positive way to do that is to run the ball, go away from the short passing game a little bit, run the ball, let the clock wind down after 32nd, and use some time. He says when a team gets ahead and they keep throwing the ball downfield a lot, you can bet that the plays are being called by the offensive coordinator, not the head coach.
So Joe Montana now, 3rd and 3 at the Saints 45. On the ground again, and Bill Ring thrown for a loss. And Frank Watlett's still spirited, that's for sure. He comes up with a fist in the air. Dennis Winston, Jim Kovach were the ones that made the tackle.
And then there was a 57 back there too, Ricky Jackson. A good surge by the defensive people here. The first hit made right there by Rob Nairn, number 55, the right side linebacker, and then some help from his friends.
So with 10:38 remaining in the fourth quarter, it is 4th and 4. Tom Morris will punt for the 49ers, and Jeff Groth.
49ers will take a penalty here, delay a game penalty. Let the 30-second clock run down and then kick it.
So they'll just move the ball back to the 49, their own 49. 10:21 remaining. Won't take too much to get this crowd stirred up again. They're trailing, the Saints are, 22-13. They had a lead of 13-6 in the second quarter when they scored the touchdown on Wayne Wilson's 1-yard plunge. Delay of the game. Wersching with his 5 field goals, including the longest of his career, 53 yards. That put the 49ers in front. Then he added his 5th field goal, which tied a 49er record, and then the interception by Dwight Hicks to open it up to 22-13.
Some confusion out there now with the 49ers punting team, and they could ill afford a mistake here.
Don't tell me they're going to let the clock run down again. They get it off just in time. Almost blocked by Tyrone Young. And a fair catch called for by Jeff Groth inside the 15-yard line. And terrific coverage by the 49ers on that punt.
Tyrone Young, the 6'6" wide receiver, broke through and came very close to getting a hand on the football, but Orris got it away, and New Orleans will take over in their own territory.
Deep.
That kid's out there again. But he's not alone. He's got a dream with him. And every night after work, he chases that dream. The one that says, someday, you're going to watch him run 400 meters faster than any other man in the summer games. In the past, it probably would have been just a dream. But we have an Olympic training center now in Colorado Springs. And he can go there and learn how to run faster than he's ever run before. So maybe he'll become as good as he believes he can be. And maybe one summer day, when you're watching the 84 games, you just might say, that kid's out there again. This American dream is brought to you by Miller High Life, the sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Center.
Next Sunday, NFL action. The Atlanta Falcons against the New York Jets. The San Francisco 49ers against the Los Angeles Rams. Plus other regional action starting with the NFL today on CBS Sports.
Well, for the first time since the Saints have played in the Superdome, they've had back-to-back sellouts. 68,154. 1975 was the last time. 1st and 10 at the 13 now for Dave Wilson and George Rogers. Go, George. Is stopped without going down by Ricky Ellison. Well, now for an NFL Today report. Let's find out what Brent Musburger has to report in New York. Brent?
Dick, as you know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were rallying. They got the ball back. They were attempting to drive for the tying touchdown. Jack Thompson put one up that was picked off by Benny Perrin, his first interception of the game. Let's go back now to Dick. 2 minutes to go on that one, Dick.
All right, Brent, we'll keep posted on the end of that ball game. Hokie Gaijon and George Rogers are in there, and Groth is in motion. And up the middle, Hokie Gaijon. Gaijon breaks a couple of tackles and brings it out to the 32-yard line before Dwight Hicks makes the stop. Gaijon reminds a lot of people of Bill Ring, although he's 20 pounds heavier with his story.
A local guy, and he played at LSU, and he's probably their most improved ball player this year, Bum Phillips said. He's a real tough kid that does everything they want. New Orleans is doing the right thing here. They've still got plenty of time, and they've got to come and pound at the 49ers a little bit on the ground and get him thinking run, and then maybe sneak one downfield on him.
You know, Bum Phillips, who has the experience, will make sure his team knows that they don't have to be impatient. 14-yard run. And by the way, that ties the longest rush in Gaijon's career. 1st and 10. Wilson gets it out to Gaijon again, and Hokie breaks a tackle. Still going. First down, Saints. And now the crowd is alive again.
That'll pick the crowd up, and that'll pick his teammates up. You see a guy putting out that kind of effort, and it pumps you up some.
Dwayne Board the tackle.
Here it is again now. You see guys on 46 out on the screen, slipping out to the left side. He gets it right here. A block on Dean right here, who looks like he might make the play, and then just good tough running by Gaijan.
8:20 remaining, fourth quarter, 1st and 10 for the Saints at their own 43. Keep in mind they need 2 scores to take the lead over the 49ers, who are up by 9. Wilson perfect in relief so far of Kenny Stabler. Goes to Rodgers. And Rodgers is stopped after 3 yards. Lawrence Pillars makes the tackle. Pillars, one of 13 children, the former New York Jet. Bum Phillips is 60 years old.
Well, he's a great man. I've never talked to a team where just unanimously every player you talk to wants to talk about their coach first, about what a great gentleman he is. They say that he interrelates and interreacts with each of them as individuals.
And he likes them to get together at lunches, meetings with different people. He wants to really mix this team up. It's worked for him. Rodgers on the swing pass, and George Rodgers to the 30. Dwight Hicks made the stop, and a great block by Brad Edelman, and George Rodgers got ahead of steam and has a first down at the San Francisco 31 on the big play of the game for George.
Starting to pick it up now. Watch Fred Dean will be out here in a flat number 74, but Louis O'Brien, number 66, wipes him out with a block. Rodgers cuts it up inside, and Edelman, number 63, was downfield. So the Saints in business now. They're across the 30.
Just under 7 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 at the 30. Wilson 5 for 5 now for 69 yards. Jimmy Rodgers is in, and he's carrying the ball, going wide, trapped, and Eric Wright makes a fine play, a shoot-top play at the 30-yard line.
The 49ers in a 3-4 defense now, but Fred Dean is in there, and he's playing the linebacker.
Gain of 2. You know, we're talking about Bum Phillips. He received a gift that he's going to treasure forever from Mary Harmon. That was Bear Bryant's widow, and that was a houndstooth cowboy hat with a red feather. And he knew, of course, he's always been one of Bear Bryant's proteges in many ways, and he showed us the hat. He's going to put it around glass and going to make a trophy out of it. He was touched by it. Hokie Gaijan. And Jimmy Rodgers in there, and Wilson has to run for his life. Tina Turner and Ronnie Lott. He loops it up in the air, and Eric Wright comes down with it. Eric Wright with the interception brings it out to the 20-yard line.
But it was just a great effort by number 42, Ronnie Lott. He came in on a safety blitz from the left side, missed Wilson the first time. Wilson rolled out to the left. Lott gathered himself, came back and hit his arm just as he threw. Now watch Lott, number 42. He'll be coming in from the left of your screen. Beats the block right there. He'll be coming. Lott, number 42, keeps hustling and makes the hit just as Wilson starts to throw, and it's a dying quail out here for number 21, Eric Wright.
So interceptions by Eric Wright, Tim Collier, and Dwight Hicks today for the 49ers. That's the 4th interception of the year for Eric Wright, who leads the team, and we'll be back.
Pontiac has created a driver's car the whole family can enjoy. Pontiac 6000. Enjoy the styling. Enjoy the room. Enjoy the handling. Pontiac 6000. Enjoy. The front-wheel drive 6000, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
All day long, we're all business. After that, it's a whole new ball game.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer. What you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
22-13, the 49ers lead the Saints and have the ball with 5:38 to go. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line following Eric Wright's interception. Montana trying to use up as much time as possible. Gives it to Roger Craig up the middle.
And Dick, now the New Orleans defense has to take some chances. They got to blitz and try to go after the ball and pop it out of there and make a turnover.
Well, tonight on CBS, look at that lineup. It begins with 60 Minutes, followed by Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons.
And you can say goodnight to Beantown because they're listening to us.
Okay, good night Beantown and Trapper John MD. A terrific lineup tonight on CBS. Hope you're watching. 5:06 and running here in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 8 at the 22. In motion is Wendell Tyler. And Roger Craig going wide. And Roger Craig down the sidelines. And Roger Craig has one man to beat. Johnny Poe runs into his own man. And he's finally tackled inside the 10-yard line by Russell Gary. So the biggest run of his career as a rookie here. Roger Craig gets free on what I think all Bill Walsh wanted was just a few yards going wide.
And Craig got to buy Keith Fahnhorst a steak dinner because Fahnhorst got a block over there that was just overpowering. He's kind of on a pull. He's got to block the outside linebacker. Look at number 71 take him down. Randy Cross had Dennis Winston down. Fahnhorst had Ricky Jackson down. Craig was untouched, got to the sideline, made a cut. So he's got a couple thank yous going to Cross and Fahnhorst for that effort.
A 71-yard gain, and that's the longest this year. First and goal at the 7 with 4 minutes to go. Longest run from scrimmage this year. And here is Wendell Tyler, who gets inside the 5-yard line on first down, and the longest last year. So that was a long gain. You have to go back a little bit to considering the 49ers problems on the ground to see who's gained more than 71 on one play.
Yeah, I would imagine you'd have to go back to the days of Delvin Williams when he was playing, or perhaps Wilbur Jackson. Paul Hofer had good days for him in the past, but I don't think he had one over 70.
Second and goal at the 3. 3.5 minutes remaining. Here's Tyler going wide, and he's going to be tripped up by Russell Gary. Russell Gary has had a banner game on defense for the Saints today. In fact, the Saints have had a banner game on defense.
Well, and he's a tough one at strong safety from Nebraska, a 3-year veteran. And when he was at Nebraska, they may have somebody more powerful than him now at defensive back, but he was the strongest defensive back in Nebraska history, number 20.
Loss of a yard. Bill Walsh feeling a lot more comfortable about things right now with under 3 minutes to go. It'll be 3rd down and goal at the 4. So Roger Craig busts one for 71 yards, and play action pass. Montana going to Earl Cooper. In the end zone, it is incomplete, defended by Dave Waymer. 71-yard run by rookie Roger Craig was the longest run since Wilbur Jackson's 80-yard scamper in 77. So you were right on it.
Montana stays on the field, of course. Wershing coming in. You see him going through his routine there of not looking up and patting Montana on the shoulder pads. He's a little bit superstitious. He doesn't have to be today. He's got it going today.
Could set a 49er record with his 6th field goal here. Montana holding. It'll be a 23-yard attempt. And this kick is up and good, and Ray Wershing has set a San Francisco 49er record with his 6th field goal, and he's one short of the NFL record of 7 set by Jim Bakken of the Cardinals.
There's the big run by Roger Craig, the rookie. As we mentioned, the 2 blocks we pointed out, Cross and Fahnhorst. Craig gets to the sideline, and he played tailback at Nebraska for a couple of years, but then gave way to Jarvis Redwine and Mike Rozier and moved to fullback. So he's got good speed. This is why the 49ers drafted him. Bill Walsh said he was going to have a day like this pretty soon, and today was a good one to have it, especially when they needed it right here in the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter, 2:33 to go, and we'll be back.
Pontiac. Like a burst from the sun, 2000 Sunbird has arrived. Pontiac's overhead cam 5-speed performer. 2000 Sunbird, easy to own, fun to drive. 2000 Sunbird, Pontiac excitement precisely the way you like it. 2000 Sunbird. Only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Who makes the best-selling radials in America? Goodyear. We outsell all foreign radials combined. One reason? The Goodyear Arriva. It gives you long tread life. And best of all season traction in the wet stuff and the white stuff. The Goodyear all-season Arriva. It's one reason Goodyear is the leader in radials. No foreign maker of radials even comes close. Goodyear, #1 in radials.
He dominated college basketball as few have. Now he faces the ultimate test, the NBA. The Ralph Sampson era begins in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
It's 25-13 the 49ers, but it's not as easy as the score might indicate. This has been a struggle for San Francisco. Roger Craig with first big run of his career, and Ronnie Lott with him. The kickoff by Ray Wersching, and Rich Marty is at the 5-yard line. And Marty is down at the 17 by Earl Cooper. Well, after the Saints, Wayne, stopped the 49ers on the 1-foot line at the end of the half, you'd have thought New Orleans had the momentum, but in this half, the 49ers have outscored the Saints 19-0.
A lot of that had to do with the field position that the Saints had in about their first 3 or 4 possessions. They didn't have much of a chance to take any risk with the ball.
Well, most of the country will see the Eagles 4-2 against Dallas 6-0, and that rivalry is a terrific one. And Dick Vermeil, who's now a CBS broadcaster, remembers the first win that Dallas had. It was a Monday night on a 4th down pass. Tony Franklin had a 59-yard field goal, and he's got a lot of those memories. Shared a few of those with us yesterday. 1st and 10. Tim Collier over the top of Lindsey Scott. And a first down at the 30. Ray Wersching, who is perfect until he missed that field goal that was blocked by Ivory Sully at the last play last week, has come back with 6 field goals this week. And you have to give him a lot of credit. He kept the Niners in the game offensively for a long time. Incomplete out of bounds. Saints' second half possession speaks for itself. While most of you will see the Philadelphia-Dallas game, many of our viewers on the West Coast will see the LA Rams against the Atlanta Falcons, and that's an important game in the NFC West, Wayne.
The Rams came into this one 4-2, tied with New Orleans and the 49ers. And Atlanta's had their problems lately, but you can't expect that that team with all their talent is going to stay down for too many more weeks.
Our 2-minute warning will return.
Pontiac. The 6000 STE from Pontiac is America's performance sedan. An engineering masterpiece that gives you an amazing command of the road. 6000 STE. Technically advanced, totally satisfying. 6000 STE. Only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Yeah, we always give it 110% on the job and on.
Oh, welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller Beer is what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
Couple of disappointed stars on the Saints bench. Kenny Stabler, who was at one out with a twisted knee, and George Rogers, who's made his first start since he was out of action for a while with a twisted knee. It suffered in the second game against the Rams. But this Saints club is a definite playoff contender. 1st and 10 at the 30. We have 1:56 remaining. Jeff Groth comes in motion. Dave Wilson has been in there and has done awfully well. He's going up on top for Tyrone Young. And the pass behind him and off to the right. Dwight Hicks was covering.
You mentioned about the Saints being a playoff contender, and they are as you look at Wendell Tyler on the bench, Dick. Bum Phillips told us yesterday that he doesn't try to sell his team into winning every game, because if you do, then they really can't handle a loss. He feels that 10-6 at the end of the road will get his team in the playoffs.
He's a realistic head coach, and they believe in him. And, you know, Ricky Jackson was the one who really set the tone. I hang around with a lot of guys on this team. He's got to believe it. 3rd and 10 at the 30-yard line. Tyler has gained 53 yards and 18 carries today. 3rd down, Wilson, Tyrone Young, and Collier hits him. It'll be 4th down and about 5. You can't fault the New Orleans defense at all today. They have played a marvelous football game. The 49ers got breaks because of their defense and their opportunistic abilities, recovering 2 fumbles and intercepting 3 passes.
And you kind of had the feeling all day that because the defenses were playing so good that it was going to be a defensive play that would probably turn this game around, and it was. It was the big interception return, 62 yards by Dwight Hicks for the 49ers.
Final score, the Cardinals outlasted Tampa Bay 34-27. So the Bucs still struggle. And Pittsburgh leading Cleveland in the 4th quarter. So on 4th down and 6, the Saints trailing by 12 points with 1:42 to go are forced to go, and Ron Ferrari on the blitz. The pass is incomplete, and so the 49ers will take over on downs. Eugene Goodlow is the intended receiver. 1:37 remain, and Dave Wilson met Ron Ferrari.
Teammates at Illinois.
Absolutely. I wonder if he said hello.
They did.
So it's the change of possession now, and the 49ers go on offense, 1st and 10. Keep in mind, it'll be Philadelphia and Dallas coming up next. Undefeated Cowboys. Can they come from behind once again, or will they have to?
Well, they've been on the cliff about 5 or 6 times all year, and you know, Dick Vermeil said they may be coming from behind to win at the end of every game, but that is also the mark of a great team.
Pitch to Wendell Tyler. He's got Randy Cross blocking, and Tyler breaks a few and carries Johnny Poe down into the end zone for the touchdown. Wendell Tyler, what a return he's having today as he caps it with a 34-yard touchdown run. And the 49ers add to their total.
Well, it just shows you what that man, number 26, can do. Stop him for a while, and then he'll pop one on you. Good blocks again. 51 is Cross on a pull. Russ Francis has a good block on an inside linebacker. Winston misses the tackle. Tyler runs by the tackle of Waymer, number 44, and then pulls Poe into the end zone.
3rd touchdown of the year rushing for Wendell Tyler. He now has 87 in this game, 87 yards, and so Bum Phillips now has to think about next week when the Saints travel to Tampa Bay. Ray Wersching adds to his point total, and so now it's 31-13, and all of a sudden the 49ers point total back to where it was going into last week's Ram game. Wendell Tyler, who was born in Shreveport, Louisiana, coming back to his home state. Of course, he went to high school in Los Angeles at Crenshaw High, and out of breath right now, and that ought to boost him, and I think Roger Craig ought to be sky high going into next week's game.
And as we said, this guy's got to handle it, and he will. He'll have New Orleans ready again next week. But you remember that Bill Walsh said that if the 49ers could hang in for the next couple of weeks while everybody got healthy. They have been bothered with injuries quite a bit. Wendell Tyler was one. Ronnie Lott, John Hardy, Pete Kugler was banged up a little bit. They've had some injury problems. He said if we can just hang in and keep our heads above water the next couple of weeks, we might really be tough down the stretch when everybody's together.
Well, for Bill Walsh's team, it'll be their 7th in a row on the road, 13 out of 14, and 10 straight on artificial turf. And what about that DC-10 record, too?
They threw the DC-10 down here again. What are they, 10-0 or something on a DC-10? Or 11, I think it's 11 now.
Wersching will kick off. Rich Maudie and Kenny Duckett are back for the Saints. 1:28 remaining. And it's picked up by Stan Brock, the short man. And Vince Williams knocked him down, and now we have a few tempers getting away, and the flags fly. Blanchard Montgomery was in and out of that tag team match. Tina Turner and Dwight Winston are Dennis Winston. Here are a couple of guys that like
Dennis Winston will show up.
Yeah. He'll be there.
I'll guarantee you.
Tony Elliott coming off the field. It's frustrating for the Saints. You can feel it, how frustrating it has to be for them because that unit played so well today.
Well, no question about it. And Winston's a tough player. Came from a tough system. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, he's added a lot to this ball club. And they're down right now.
1:21 remaining. Well, he didn't get the nickname Dirt for nothing, did he?
No, he said no. That's how the nickname came about, because he's mean and was perhaps at one time a little bit dirty on the field. He told us that himself. He said, "I'm still mean, but in a different way."
Both players are disqualified. 61 San Francisco, 99 New Orleans. They're both finished for the game.
Jesse Sapolo, the rookie from Hawaii, and Tony Elliott out of the game. There's Tony.
Well, it cost him just a few bucks for that from the league.
There's Jesse, 11th round draft pick from Hawaii. 49ers rushed for 190 yards in this game as Tyler and Craig each rushed for 87. The Saints, who have been running the ball awfully well, rushed for only 90. So the 49ers stopped the running attack of the Saints today. It's one of the things they had to do. Dave Wilson on a blitz, and this is caught by Eugene Goodlow, who's awfully close to a first down. Fred Dean storming in on Dave Wilson on that play.
Wilson showed great courage. He hung in there right at the end and didn't flinch at all as he released, although Dean was right in his face.
Ray Wersching, 2 field goals, gave the 49ers a 6-0 lead, and then it was 13-6 New Orleans on a touchdown. And then second half, all San Francisco. This pass to Hokie Gajan is complete, run out of bounds by Ron Ferrari. Big story of this game, though, Ray Wersching with a club record 6 field goals, including a personal high of 53-yarder. What a season Ray Wersching is having.
You know that kickers like Wersching and Morton Anderson would love to play every game inside on a carpet with the elements are not a factor. There's not any wind blowing, and sets up nice on the artificial turf, and kickers love it in here.
Wersching is 14 for 15 on the year.
And that one was a block.
Dallas, Philadelphia coming up next. For most of you, Dave Wilson running out. This pass is caught. Tina Turner all over Larry Hardy, the tight end. By way of a moment, we want to thank Marty Aronoff, who does a yeoman job in our booth week after week.
I'll second that emotion.
And the guys in the truck. And we'll tell you who they all are. The executive producer, Terry O'Neill. The senior producer, Chuck Milton. And our game producer, David Dinkins Jr. and Bob Daly, our director. Mitch Goldstein, our associate producer, Mike Frank, and all the guys that helped put this broadcast together, our thanks. So 41 seconds remain here. And the timeout called by the New Orleans Saints, who will now go to Tampa Bay next week with a record of 4-3, while the 49ers will have a 5-2 mark and await the result of the Rams and the Falcons. And I want to remind our viewers out west that they'll be seeing that Atlanta-Los Angeles game. And some of you will be seeing the Giants at Kansas City back east. Philadelphia-Dallas, the feature game, the undefeated Cowboys against the 4-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Wendell Tyler has already started. There you see under his jersey what it's like to protect that left shoulder.
He had a special apparatus to help his shoulder under his shoulder pads.
Second down and 3. Wilson to Hokie Gajan. Does a little dance with Ron Ferrari. Cuts inside. Looks like he'll get the first down. He does. To the 35-yard line. 32-13. A score here. 32-13. And a happy bunch of 49ers will get on that lucky DC-10 and go back to San Francisco. Tyler, like Roger Craig, each with 87 yards today. And the 49ers defensive secondary with the interceptions, 3. And now the Saints call their last timeout with 27 seconds to go.
You would almost think at a point of the ball game like this that a team behind like New Orleans with no opening would not call a timeout, but they got to get out there. By the name of Dave Wilson that wants to play and get a feeling of the last minute or so and do all he can do.
All right now for an NFL Today report, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Dick, the Chicago Bears have got a chance to pull one out against Detroit. They've got about 6.5 minutes to go. Vince Evans popped this one into Matsui now, and so they're within striking distance, 24-17. Back to Dick.
They sure are, Brent. That would be a big boost to the Chicago Bears if they can do that. San Francisco leading New Orleans 32-13. Ray Wersching, 6 field goals. Other kickers who have 6 and 1.
Talking about the NFC West and how difficult it was and how close it was going to be. They both feel, and so does John Robinson, who we talked to earlier in the year, that the NFC West is the toughest division right now in the National Football League. And if it's not now, it will be in 2 years, because all the teams, Atlanta, the Rams, New Orleans, and the 49ers, are all young teams and will just get better just by being together.
It's going to be a good race right down to the wire, not only for the division champion, but a wild card berth could come out of this division. Wilson way back there is sacked by Fred Dean. So Fred Dean chases Wayne Wilson, or Dave Wilson, all the way back to the 48-yard line.
Back there with Jeff Stover, also had a hand on Wilson.
The 4th sack by the 49ers today. They'll be going to Anaheim for the rematch against the Rams next Sunday. Wayne will be there. We'll be there for that contest, and Gaijan on the receiving end, and that will do it for the game. For Wayne Walker, this is Dick Stockton saying so long, and here in New Orleans, the final score, the 49ers 32 and the Saints 13. Coming up next, the second half of our doubleheader, CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. We'll see either Philadelphia, Dallas, Giants, Kansas City, or Atlanta at LA Rams will continue after this word from your local station.
Now United flies to Tokyo from more top U.S. business centers. United's 3-class international service to Tokyo. It's truly world-class.
The judge said she was unfit to care for her kids, so she kidnapped them. For 8 years, their father never knew where they were. 60 Minutes this evening on CBS.